Welcome back. Bruce Porter joins us now for this week's Dollars and Cents segment, where he takes an email from a viewer and answers the question on the air. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, you ready for today's question?
You bet.
Here we go. All right, my wife and I have 2 kids, ages 2 and 4. We both work. How should we start saving for our kids' college?
That's a good question. We get that some. What happens when people come in, we're going to ask them a whole lot of questions. We're going to try to find out some details. So today we're going to kind of assume a few things, kind of a typical scenario. So that scenario is 25% of their take-home pay is used for housing. So we're going to assume approximately $800 a month for housing. Let's assume they've got a car payment. A lot of young families do.
Most do, right.
You know, let's assume that. Group life insurance at work. Let's just say equal to a year's salary. No savings to date. That's not unusual. And a little bit of credit card debt. So if we just make those assumptions, and again, we'd have to find out a lot more details.
That's pretty average.
Yeah, that's kind of as a rule of thumb right now, let's just take that. All right. So now the first thing I would do, I mean, the one thing I would want to address is college funding is great, but what happens if something happens to dad or mom? So with a year's worth of salary as their life insurance base, I would probably want to visit with them about that family protection. College funding is great, but if no one's there to put money in it, you got a problem. So I would look at maybe buying some term insurance. Inexpensive because they're a young couple and not a lot of income. So I'd want to look at term insurance to save cost, high coverage. Then I'd want them to address their credit cards. Even small credit card debt is going to have interest associated with it. So when we're trying to figure out how to save some money, that's the first thing we can do. Eliminate that debt, save on that interest payment, and then set up a savings account. Again, college funding is fine, but if we have a little something pop up, maybe the car breaks down or furnace goes out or somebody gets sick.
Life happens.
Life does happen,
in general.
doesn't it?
So now we want to build up some savings. 6 to 12 months would be ideal. That's unrealistic in today's world.
Especially with a younger couple.
I mean, average savings account right now is about $3,800 in a U.S. household. So it's still, but the idea of developing that plan of saving money, that's what we want them to do. I would then suggest they check out their retirement plans that are available at work. Again, getting that habit of saving and not spending every dime you make. So I would want them to look into that.
Instill that in your child too, I would imagine.
I would want them to do that. And then we could start looking at college funding, get the basics taken care of first, and then, you know, take that next step, which is, okay, how do I start saving? Well, you know, when we look at college costs and how do we save? Well, Missouri's got a real good plan called the MOST plan, 529, and you can look up the details of that or find out the details of that, but that's an option. A lot of people go back to like IRAs. You can use an IRA for higher education, but you still got tax liabilities. You can avoid the 10% penalty, but you still have tax liability on
anything you're
that
taking
withdrawal.
out.
And then you got Roth, and you got the availability of Roth if you've met the requirements of that, and you got that as an option. So those are some ideas. A lot of people consider using their 401k as a tool. I wouldn't want to imply that that would be a good option because of the tax implications and the penalties. And taking a loan out against your 401k, that might avoid the tax and the penalty, but it's going to be detrimental to your retirement
It's depleting, what you have.
So
it is, and you can borrow for college, but you can't borrow for retirement. So you kind of have to get your ducks in a row to start with.
And of course, this is the average. To know really specifics, you have to bring specifics in. Best to contact a financial advisor. Yeah,
that's always, you know, always get good legal advice from an attorney, good tax advice from a CPA, and good financial advice from a financial expert. So